Shalom, shalom, shalom. I was just watching a video on YouTube where this person was trying to defend Christmas. He went on to say that Christmas is not pagan. He said he's tired of these so-called sacred namers every time Christmas comes around teaching that Christmas is pagan. So in effort to explain his point, he cited an article from the website. Calculating Christmas, the story behind December 25th by William J. Tigg. Now, I don't know if I messed up the guy's name, but you get the message. The article says, it's true that first evidence of Christians celebrating December 25th as the date of the Lord's Nativity comes from Rome some years after Aurelian in AD 336. He goes on to say, but there is evidence from both the Greek East and the Latin West, and Christians attempted to figure out the date of Christ's birthday long before they began to celebrate it. So he's saying they were trying to figure out the birthday. These scholars they know that birthday was only in the 66 books 3 times. Why would they try to figure out when his birthday was to celebrate his birthday? If that wasn't something that the Hebrews did. Moving right along. The article goes on to say, Christmas, December 25th, is a feast of Western Christian origin. In Constantinople, it appears to have been introduced in 379 or 380. But the article says that it was introduced from a sermon of St. John Chrysostom at the time of a renowned ascetic and preacher in his native Antioch. Don't worry about me stumbling over the words, okay? You get the point. Now listen closely. The notion is a key factor in understanding how some early Christians came to believe that December 25th is the date of Christ's birth. The early Christians applied this idea to Jesus so that March 25th and April 6th were not only the supposed dates of Christ's death, but of his conception or birth as well. So they're saying that he was born the same month that he died. What a coincidence, right? What a coincidence. How would they know that? How would they know that without knowing the Hebrew customs? Tertullian, one of the church fathers, was a Berber and a Phoenician. His father was a Roman centurion, and he was raised pagan and practiced the law of Rome before converting to Christianity in his 30s or 40s. Tertullian was an African. You do know he was an African, right? But you're following an African who was a pagan. He's supposed to be one of the church fathers that gave you Christmas. St. John Chrysostom also was a Greek. He was a black Greek. I know you hate that, don't you? He wasn't black. He wasn't a Negro. He was a Greek. Greeks were just olive skin. Back to my point. Back to the video at hand. Sorry I hurt your feelings. Okay, on a serious note. Now here's where it gets interesting. Okay? Since the early church fathers gave you Christmas December 25th, it was people that hated the Christians that gave us a harder way to go. They were the ones that invented the idea that Christmas was pagan. Matter of fact, the Romans stole Christmas from the Christians and made it pagan. That's the narrative that they're pushing now. The article reads, the idea that the date was taken from the pagans goes back to 2 scholars. Do I see damage control? 2 scholars from the late 17th and early 18th centuries. Paul Ernest Jablonski, a German Protestant, wished to show that the celebration of Christ's birthday on December 25th was one of the many paganizations of Christianity that the church of the 4th century embraced. How dare you touch the pillar of the church? It gets better. And Don John Hardouin, a Benedictine monk, tried to show that the Catholic Church adopted pagan festivals for Christian purposes without paganizing the gospel. Not to mention Philip Schaff, who wrote the history of the Christian church, what I first learned about when I was in theological school. He said it too. Let's not forget about Alexander Hislop, the two Babylons. He said it too. I guess he was wrong. Here's where it's getting hot now. It's getting hot in here. The article says, as things actually happened, Aurelian, who ruled from 270 until his assassination in 275, was hostile to Christianity and appears to have promoted the establishment of the festival of the birth of the unconquered sun as a device to unify the various pagan cults of the Roman Empire around the commemoration of the annual rebirth of the sun. He led an empire that appeared to be collapsing in the face of internal unrest, rebellions in the provinces, economic decay, and repeated attacks from German tribes to the north and the Persian Empire to the east. So he hated the church. So he invented this doctrine, this theory that the church stole the pagan unconquerable sun worship. Let me clear my throat. I'm running out of time, so I gotta hurry up. All right, you scholars, I'm going to add a few more names for you that you have to research now, because these people also, they created the doctrine that Christmas was pagan too. We got to dig them up and we got to burn them babies. So he gave you Jablonski. I'm going to give you Ernest Frederick Wursdorf. Ernest Frederick Wursdorf picked up where Jablonski left off and claimed that Christmas was just an adapted Roman celebration for the unconquerable sun, Sol Invictus. He laid out his case in his book called De Originibus Solem Sababaha, whatever that is. See, we were stripped of our native tongue. That language is hard to read. Moving right along. Edward Gibbons. His views would find the most eloquent expressions of Edward Gibbons, who wrote in 1737, who wrote The History of the Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire, published in 1776, the same year as the American Revolution. This then led to all kinds of suppositions about how pagan Christianity was. Gibbons suggested that Christians destroy the Roman Empire and replace it with the terrible Dark Age, filled with superstition and ignorance and narrow-mindedness. And then there's the infamous Alexander Hislop. Alexander Hislop, one such popularist was Alexander Hislop, whose life mission was to annihilate the Roman Catholic Church. And for all, once and for all. He set about doing this by claiming that everything about Catholicism was nothing other than the disguised paganism of ancient Babylon. How about Charles William King, who said that Christianity was nothing more than Mithraism? Gerald Massey said that Christians came from Egypt, that the Egyptologists were the Christians, and modern Christianity is a result of them. And last but not least, Philip Schaff, 1819 to 1893. Look at what he wrote. Apostolic Christianity, Anti-Nicene Christianity. Well, that's all I got time for. But I'm going to say this as I close. Christians are going to continue to celebrate Christmas regardless of what you show them, regardless of what information you show them. They will debunk it over and over again. Oh, it's not true. They lied on the church. Until the next time, shalom.